Welcome to Money Talks, a weekly feature on FM 93.5 The Berg and WMEG AM 740. Today we will talk just a little bit about money, maybe some of the things you can do with it, how it can impact your life, some ideas on financial planning and investing, and getting the most out of the money you hope to have, already have, or want to pass down. So sit back, relax, listen, and maybe take some notes, as you may have some questions by the time we're done with this edition of Money Talks. Good morning, Dan Joss. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm well, thank you. So I happen to have three great, I hate to say kids because they're no longer hardly kids.
Young adults.
Young adults. I have three great young adults, and we talk about money, and they keep telling me about these apps that they've got. And I'm like, apps? You mean applications? And I'm like, what's an application? I'm like, it's the long word for app. And they're like, oh, okay. And they tell me that they've got all they're taking care of their money with apps. What do you know about these apps, Dan Joss?
Well, there's a lot of them. And essentially, you know of Quicken or Excel spreadsheets or envelopes.
Right. I think of them as computer programs.
A way to budget.
That's kind of what an app is.
These are all now on your phone, and they can do what you want them to do.
They're not on my phone. They're on my kids' phones.
Well, your bank may have an app.
Yes.
And so there you go. It's on your phone.
Okay. It could be if I downloaded it. If I can get the neighbor next door to show me how to download it on my phone, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah. So depending on what your kids want to do, they have an app for that. In fact, they have hundreds of apps for
we got an
whatever
app
it is.
for that.
So I put them into a few different categories. One is cash flow and budgeting.
Okay.
Quicken had envelopes. You know, I get my check, I put money in each of these envelopes, and then I use it. So someone made an app to replicate that on your phone.
Okay. Because I'm still telling people to put it in envelopes.
And it works. But it's that the purpose of divvying up your paycheck to your needs and wants for the rest of the the time till your next paycheck comes. But that's a simple app, and then they made that easier by connecting it to your bank account, and then the transactions could automatically be categorized. As you spent money at the gas station on your card, the $15 fill-up shows up in your bank, and then it goes to the app, and then it moves money from the gas envelope.
Wow.
So it automated some things and made it easier so that you don't have to think really about which categories did this go into.
Wow.
But there's a bunch of them. Mint.com. You Need a Budget, YNAB, Joy, Digit, Good Budget, Pocket Guard, Wally, Envelopes. There's a bunch of these things, and 6 months from now, they'll all be different.
Okay.
But the idea is planning to spend the money that you have in an easy way.
Planning to spend the money you have in an easy way.
And you can look back and see what you did and see what categories were spent and then decide, is this too much from this category, or could this be better spent somewhere else, and am I getting satisfaction from the way I'm spending my money?
That's a great point. Am I getting satisfaction from the way I'm spending my money? Because if I'm spending it all on candy and cigarettes, then it's probably not giving me that much satisfaction in the big picture.
If you don't like candy and cigarettes.
Well, I don't like cigarettes at all. Obviously, I like candy out there in Radioland. But
this is the same information that your bank had. But many don't look back at their bank statements and look at it by category of what they're spending it on, or plan to spend it in the future.
Right. And most banks don't give you the breakdown as to where you spent your money. Credit cards will do that. Right. Some of the credit card companies put it down for retail and gas and so on and so forth. So that's sort of what some of these apps are doing for you.
The cash flow apps are doing just that. In fact, you're allowed to connect your bank and your credit card and a few other accounts. And so it will aggregate all of that information in one app on your smartphone.
Okay. And we started this conversation because I was talking about my kids, who aren't kids anymore. They're 19, 21, and 24, a long way from kids. But my teaching them with the same tools that I had and or I use may not really be all that effective. Maybe we need to make sure that we become familiar with the tools that are out there if we're really going to teach our next generation, and we might want to embrace some of those tools ourselves instead of doing it the hard way.
Yeah, you may want to. There are some considerations. Essentially, the concepts are the same.
Right.
Spending money, reviewing it, planning to use it. Just the method of tracking is much more advanced, and also that brings risks. You know, when I connect my bank account information and my credit card information to an app on my smartphone, I've increased the risk of my personal information being taken or seen by others.
Okay.
And so a consideration, regardless of which apps these are the security. You want to have your phone and accounts authenticated or double authentication on accessing this information. And just be aware that I think it was several big box stores had their credit card information stolen.
Right.
And so when you're putting that on an app somewhere, you have that same risk.
Okay. And so as a financial guy, financial advisor, you can help somebody sort through some of these things.
Yeah, I'll talk about which ones you may consider, or if you need to consider them, because you can certainly get through life without an app or a smartphone.
I've heard about people doing that.
Yeah. In
fact,
fact,
my parents.
I had a neighbor that we were talking about using Uber. He said, I don't use Uber. It's like, do you know what it is? He said, yeah, but I don't have a smartphone, which I never thought of, that you need to have a smartphone to use Uber.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that makes sense.
So there are people out there that are getting along just fine without it.
Yep.
And pencil and paper and Excel spreadsheets and desktop software or applications still work.
Yep. Well, good.
But one of the considerations is certainly security of your information, because now you're connecting things, and then also the purpose. What do I want to accomplish? Why do I want to accomplish it? And where am I at? Are considerations on which apps may be best for you.
Okay.
And you can certainly search the web for different types of apps. There's cash flow and budgeting apps. There's investing apps to make investing easier or simpler or automatic. There's moving money to friends apps that you can say, instead of "I'll see you next time," it's like just push a button and they've got the money.
Wow.
And credit apps, checking credit score and other things. So lots of apps, and like I mentioned, 6 months from now there'll be many more, and some that are here won't be anymore.
Right.
But that's just life.
That is life.
So
all right.
Understand why you want to do something, what you want to do, and then other decision criteria. Be concerned about your personal information security, and then get back to using money wisely.
Excellent. All right. Well, Dan Joss, we appreciate you being here. After talking about all these apps, I think I'm going to have to go take a nap. And I hope you all have...
It's an NAP?
An NAB, not an APP. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for sharing all this with us. And if someone wants to get in touch with you...
Yeah, give me a call, 757-903-2127.
Excellent. And your website?
jossfinancial.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.